Okay, I want you to fill in the blank. Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun. I'm sure it's already popped into your head. Just based off of that, you know exactly what I'm talking about. In fact, as a matter of fact, when you think of Halo, that is probably something that pops into your head. That's probably like one of the first things that pops into your head when Halo is mentioned, because that was a totally iconic musical theme, arguably one of the most famous video game songs of all time. And it was composed by a man named Marty O'Donnell, who recently got a very special endorsement from the big man himself in his run to represent Nevada's 3rd Congressional District. So, Marty O'Donnell, former composer of Bungie, has been endorsed by our current president to take over the seat, currently represented by a Democrat, Susie Lee, who has been the representative, I think, since I want to say 2018 or 2020, something like that. I don't know when exactly it was that she became a representative for that particular district. But he's going to be running in the Republican primary, which I guess will be coming up in June. And with this endorsement, it's probably a shoo-in, to be honest. But who knows? Who knows? I really don't have any idea what the polling is or any of that good stuff. It is kind of interesting that Marty is to that point now being a big fan of his, when he had previously called him an idiot on Twitter during the Republican primary in 2016, which things were a lot different back then. I don't know if you exactly remember 2016 and the Republican primary and what various politicians in the Republican Party thought about Trump and said about him and everything like that. But things have changed quite a lot if you've kept up to date. If you're a young one in the crowd and you have no idea what I'm talking about, just go look down that rabbit hole on the internet. You'll see what I'm talking about. Let's go ahead and look at that tweet. Oh, it doesn't exist anymore. That's right. That's because Marty deleted it. But, there have been several news articles that have brought it up. So the evidence is out there. It's not like these people are just randomly making this up, right? I haven't found a screenshot per se of this, but I'm sure it's out there if they are mentioning this, of course. But, Marty's in good company, I would say. Especially considering that he was found in contempt of court over using assets from Destiny. After all, he wasn't just a composer for Halo, he was one of the composers for the original Destiny game. The first one, the one that I don't know if you can actually still play the original Destiny or not, or if that was like completely shut down whenever they did Destiny 2. I have no idea. But he got let go from Bungie, I guess, shortly before the release of Destiny. Who knows for what reason? I mean, 2014 was such a long time ago. It was insane. 12 years ago. That was before all of this stuff that's been going on nowadays, right? So I don't know if it had anything to do with that, but he got in a little bit of trouble for that, of course. That was, of course, several years after he did successfully sue Bungie whenever they cut him out, because they cut him out of his shares in the company. So I guess whenever Sony bought Bungie, he probably got a fat payday off those shares, unless he was a dum-dum and sold his shares before then. But even then, I guess he probably still got a pretty decent chunk out of that if he did sell beforehand. I don't know. But he is still involved in the video game industry, in case you weren't aware. He did start his own company afterwards called Highwire Games, who had released 2 games, Golem, a PlayStation VR game. I'm not really familiar with it at all. And then 6 Days in Fallujah. And here is their website, guys. This is the actual Highwire Games website. I know it says highwiregames.wordpress.com. That's just the website. I'm going to just search it again. I'm not a robot. Okay, sorry. It had a little captcha that I had to go there, but yeah, you can see that's their link, just a WordPress page that anybody can have. So I don't know, maybe it's not their page, but it is an active studio. They did put out 6 Days in Fallujah, like I said, which interestingly enough, this particular game was going to be a game that was going to come out all the way back in the Xbox 360 generation. And it was going to be published by Konami. And they canceled it because of the controversy, because this game is actually based on the Iraq War. And that was still kind of a touchy subject back then. I mean, technically, it is now, I suppose, considering we were lied to about WMDs and all this good stuff. And of course, it was all built based on a hoax that was brought upon by another country's leader. You know, a little skinny shaped country that is to the west of Iraq. Look into it, but facts are facts, guys. And we all know that Iraq was a mistake. But I guess apparently this game, part of the reason it got canceled was because it was apparently glorifying this stuff. I don't know if they had changed plans, because obviously with the massive gap in time, with it being canceled before, I guess, Highwire Games ended up actually, I guess, picking up the mantle and finishing this game and actually releasing it. It's still in early access, so it's not actually finished per se, but it is an active game. You can buy it on Steam right now, clearly. It's actually on sale at the moment if you're interested in checking it out. But yeah, so he has still been involved in the industry in some regard, although I think he's just more or less an owner of the company. You know, it's not really something that he's really all that involved in. So he's running for the Nevada 3rd District. And just to kind of show you, that's going to be around Las Vegas, Clark County. It's pretty much the very southern tip of the state there, as you can see in this picture here. So it's a pretty small district, all things considered, in terms of size. So it's definitely a more concentrated area of population. So I'm guessing that Marty lives in Las Vegas or nearby, maybe Henderson or something like that. I don't know. But, you know, Susie Lee, of course, she was elected in 2018, and she's been the representative since. That's the current Democrat representative that's representing that district. And then Marty, of course, with this endorsement, is most likely going to be the Republican nominee. So we're going to see how things will go with that election. It's definitely more of a purple district, although, you know, they have had a Democrat in that seat since 2016. So who knows how that's going to go. But with the way things have been going right now, I'm not sure if it's going to go well, especially since we've got Marty endorsing stuff like this right here. Destroy the flood. Yeah, remember that one, guys? When the government was using imagery from the Halo franchise to promote joining of the Immigrations, Customs, and Enforcement organization that are doing certain things. So yeah, it's been quite a wild ride here. And of course, he's telling people not to buy this vinyl set, probably because he doesn't get any royalties off of this. Maybe because they like rearranged it and all that good stuff so that he doesn't get a cut. That's probably why he was telling people not to buy that, of course. But yeah. You know, it's kind of interesting, but I guess he has decided to sell out, I guess, his principles and just get on board the train. That's the way I'm seeing it. And I don't know about you guys, but I mean, things have not been going so great. You know, they really haven't. I'm not trying to make this like an overtly political thing, although talking about politics is unavoidable because it is related directly with what I talk about here with video games. So it's kind of like unavoidable, guys. But if you happen to live in that district and you happen to be voting in the Republican primary, I guess you can vote for Marty O'Donnell. If the main qualification that you have for a representative is, hey, did they compose a bomb ass music track for an Xbox video game or did they not? Who knows? I mean, crazier things have happened. I mean, we've elected literal celebrities, for TV shows and stuff like that, movies. So I guess that's enough of a qualification. Who knows? But, anyways, that's all I've got time for. If you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to check out the most recent video that I've done right above my head there. And then in the other corner, the algorithm is going to send something fire to you. Definitely hope you check it out. And don't forget, of course, to subscribe down there. And that's going to be the last line.